Hey, everyone. I hope you all are having a very good Sunday. Your girl is out here on the scene doing what I normally do, trying to get these coins up. But I would be removed if I did not come to you guys, like I always do on Sundays, to bring this impeccable gentleman here to talk to y'all. It is Financial Sunday. I don't know about y'all, but I am super excited. I am super ready for the information that this man is about to download to us. Today, he is talking about invest in yourself. I don't know where he finna go with this. I don't know what feelings he finna hurt, but baby, we ready for it. So without further ado, I bring you all the one, the only, the man, the legend, Mr. Terrence Jones with Paladin Tax Services. T, what's going on with you?
Oh, not much, dear. How are you doing this fine Sunday?
Oh, I'm doing good, doing good. Thank you so much for asking. Just out here trying to
Well,
do my thing.
hey, look, aren't we all? Aren't we all? Well, look, this Sunday, I've been working on this one, right? And because we don't want to just talk about making money. Everybody talks about making money, but we want to talk about mastering the mindset that builds wealth from the inside out. So that's why today's episode we're going to call it "Poor Thinking Mindsets That Keep You Broke." We're not trying to shame anybody. We just want to shine light on the invisible mental traps that everybody goes through that can sabotage even the smartest financial person. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about these mental mistakes that keep us stuck, but more importantly, how to break free of them so we could be on our path to financial success. You know what I'm saying? So the first thing, we always got to identify what is poor thinking. Everybody like, oh, no, I'm poor. No, you're not poor. You're broke. But if you're broke, it's probably because you have poor thinking. So how do you identify poor thinking? You have limited long-term plans, financial plans. You keep reacting to financial crisis instead of creating financial success. And most of your financial decisions are rooted, you're paying bills out of fear, not out of wisdom. I had a conversation at the barbershop with one of the guys the other day. And he said, yeah, T, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pay my rent up 3 months. And I was like, why? He said, so I don't have to worry about it for 3 months. I say, but then after 3 months, is it paid off? He said, no, but I don't have to worry about it for 3 months. And I say, well, what if within those 3 months you're gonna need that money for something else? Let's say your car breaks down. Can you go in and grab that money? No. I say, then that's not a wise place to put your money. Your rent is going to be your rent. You're going to have that. If you're going to do something with your money to that level, then put it in a bill or an expense that you plan on paying off. So that's what I talk about when I say your financial decisions are rooted in fear and not wisdom. Poor thinking often looks like constant hustle, no directions, avoiding money decisions altogether, blaming external factors only. Well, it's because they did this that I don't have the money to do this. I know we done heard that before. And the worst one, thinking you're destined to financially struggle. That's the biggest lie going. You know, thinking like that is like voodoo. It's only real if you believe it. No one is destined to struggle, but your decisions can help you land in that kind of position where you're living paycheck to paycheck. So, first thing I'm going to say is I want to identify 6 common poor thinking mistakes. Nicole, let me ask you, what do you think is a common poor thinking mistake that all of us share? Oop, Nicole, you there? Oh, never mind. Well, I'll keep going. Well, one of the common poor thinking mistakes is when people confuse income with wealth. And you've heard this person say this. Oh, I make good money. I should be fine. Really? But if you're not saving, you're not investing, you're not building, all you're doing is cycling cash. And at the end of the day, you will be broke because that's living paycheck to paycheck. Another common poor thinking mistake is, and you know these people, Somebody who lives above their identity, not just even above their means. They buy things to try to impress people. I need to look like I have money. That's the person who live with their mama, but who has a Lexus. You know what I'm saying, Nicole?
Yes, I
I couldn't
do.
hear you.
I understand
Okay.
wholeheartedly. Peace. Okay.
you
Nah,
know,
I'm right there
and
with you. I understand. Yeah.
that's those type of people. But the shift from that is if you build internal value, you don't have to seek external validation. Um, Another
That
common
one was
poor
tough
thinking
right
mistake
there.
is thinking budgeting is a restriction. I was having a financial coaching session with a young lady, and she was telling me a lot of things how she wastes her money. And I said, "Well, you're gonna have to stop this. You're gonna have to stop that. You can't do this." Well, I don't feel like I could do anything. She just threw her hands up in the air, and I stopped and I said, "What is it that you want to do?" I say because you don't make enough money to live to eat out every day at work. So what is it that you really want to do? And I had to get real with her. I was like, look, you got more pink slips than you have pieces of paper on your desk, but you worried about eating out. I like sometimes we just have to grow up an adult, and you don't make the money to do those type of things, then you just cannot do it. But when you think budgeting is a restriction on your lifestyle, we got to look at that because that's not just the way it is. That's the way that you think. Another thing that we do, or that a lot of people do, is they blame the system without taking control. So let me get some things out the way. Inequality is real. Pay gaps are real. But poor thinking says that you're powerless to do anything against it. Learn how to work and manipulate your money. Become financially literate so you can make your money do things for you within your universe. There's always going to be something that's going to try to hold you back from success. That's the purpose of success. You have to be willing to fight for it and work hard for it. But if all you do is the first hurdle you hit, I can't jump it, and you just stand there, then guess what? All you're doing is blaming the system, and guess what? It's going to be you that suffer.
Let
The
me just
fifth
say
one,
something.
go ahead, lay it on me, baby.
As somebody who has experienced what you just talked about, that cusp, right? That space where things are very uncomfortable and things do not seem to be going right, your mindset will determine if it's going to go in your favor or if it's going to continue to work against you. Because the next phase of elevation requires discomfort. It requires hard work. It requires you being able to invest in yourself in a way that you never imagined that you would be able to first. The universe will see what you're able to provide, and then it'll match your work. That's all I got on that.
Preach, 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 sister, preach. You're talking now. Now you're talking. And the last one, oh, hold on 1 second. And the last thing is, oh, I'm sorry, number 5 was fear of investing. I have a friend. Once again, we at the barbershop. We know when guys get to the barbershop, they talk about a lot of things. Guy told me, yeah, T, I got about $3,000 in the house. And I was like, for what? He said, oh, just in case of emergency. I said, well, excuse me, Pablo Escobar. What type of emergency would you have that you would need $3,000? I mean, I hear you, Heisenberg. I mean, unless you're doing Breaking Bad and you need that kind of cash on the spot, I don't see where $3,000 will benefit you. But let me tell you, and I had to explain to him. Let me explain to you how it doesn't benefit you because that money sitting in your house is not gaining interest.
It ain't
Inflation
doing nothing.
is eating away at your savings. Take that money. I say you can leave 500, but take the rest and put that in a high yield savings account where it is earning money for you. And he was like, well, I ain't think about it like that. I said, that's because you don't know any better. You thought you was doing something smart, but you wasn't. And that's one, and that goes back to what I said before. Lack of financial literacy kills our community. And the last one, the sixth common mistake, waiting for the right time. People tell themselves, "Oh, when I make more, I'll start investing. I'll start saving. Oh, I'll start saving tomorrow." You know what the beauty about tomorrow is? It never comes. Because on Monday, when I say, "Oh, I'm gonna save some money tomorrow," you know what happened on Tuesday? I'm gonna save some money tomorrow. You know what happened on Wednesday? I'm gonna start saving tomorrow. Then what happens Thursday? I'm gonna start saving tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes.
Right.
Progress
You're
is better than perfection. Stop waiting for the right time and let this time be the right time.
right. And take the time to truly prepare, right? You don't
Mhm.
know what your life is going to lead to. You don't know what disaster could strike at any moment. The only thing that you can do is to actually put yourself in a better position to prepare. So just like you made the reference about your friend who had the money in the house, put it into another sort of preparation for your future. You know you're gonna retire. You know you're gonna get old and you're not gonna be able to work no more. That could be one of the first things that you do. If you're big on education for your children, start putting, even if it's $20, $20 over every paycheck, it'll at least give your kids a good start to be able to pursue what it is they want in their educational pursuit. Listen to Terrence Jones, Paladin Tax Services. Like, this is what he does for a living. He is a trusted professional. Like, we're giving you the keys. It's time for you to unlock your own kingdom.
Exactly, exactly. And I tell people all the time, the one thing about financial sustainability, I'm not telling you nothing new. I have not invented the wheel. But these are practices that people who are wealthy practice every day. But they was taught this from the minute they could walk two steps. The minute they could read and understand, their family, their parents, their grandparents has been teaching them this. The unfortunate reality of a lot of people that resemble me, we're not taught this. We just kind of go through life fumbling and learning, and then we don't even pass on what we know to the younger generation. Hell, half the time the younger generation is not even listening to us because they think they know everything. So neither here nor there. But
Most of us, I would say, are taught what not to do, not what to do.
exactly, 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 and that's a problem. So we talked about the six poor thinking mistakes, right? So how does these mistakes show up in everyday life? So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna tie these into something that either you've experienced yourself or you know somebody who has experienced it, right? So the first one is you get a raise, but all of a sudden your expenses rise too. This is what they call is a lifestyle creep. Instead of leveraging additional income to build wealth or reinforce your security, it gets you start spending it on new conveniences and habits. You know, you had Hulu, now you have Disney. You start eating out more. You start buying Gucci. What's the danger? You feel richer, but you remain financially stagnant. You have a whole house full of stuff and nothing really to fall back on in case you fall into some kind of financial emergency. The mindset trap that you would hear people say when they experiencing this is, "I've earned it, so I should be able to spend it." But how about if you flip it and you say, I've earned it. Now, how can I make this increase last? Am I saying that you're not allowed to have any fun? No. But if you're out here going on cruises and still, when you come back from your vacation, you're living paycheck to paycheck, then what are you really doing? What have you really done? You still have bills to pay? What have you really done? The second example is you're afraid to look at your bank account. Now, I know some people are like, really? There are people, when you ask them, hey, how much money you have in your savings? Oh, I don't know. Oh, really? So if you had a financial emergency, you wouldn't know right off the bat if you were able to sustain it. Or a better example, and I talk to all my business clients about this. I ask them, how many clients would you have to see, or how much would you have to make monthly to break even? That's my favorite question to all my business clients. To break even with all your bills, how many clients would you have to see? Oh, I have no clue. How don't you? How do you not know how many people you should see to make sure that your business is being profitable to you? Or do you have to do more work to get more clients? See, again, when you don't plan and don't have this kind of financial outlook, all you are is the hamster on the hamster wheel. You're working hard. You're running fast. You're not going nowhere. Because what is it to have a business if all you doing is barely paying your bills? Then you're working for nothing. Now, sometimes this avoidance stems from shame, from fear of confronting uncomfortable truths, you know. But I'm gonna tell you this: it's like ignoring the warning light on the dashboard of your car, just kind of hoping that the light will go off. Usually, what happens is the $200 problem turns into a $500 problem. So now, when you don't know how much money you're making, you don't know how much money you're saving. Let's say that same vehicle, your transmission goes out. Now you got to look at that bank account. What if you realize you don't have enough to pay for this transmission? Then what do you do? But you know you've made enough money that you should have more in that savings account. But you were afraid to look in it. You didn't want to look at it. You didn't want to think about it. Another example is, and this is for people that are in relationships. I'm about to touch somebody. You don't talk about money in your relationship. Now, I have tax clients that are couples, and my first question to them is, why are y'all filing separately? Oh no, my money is my money and his money is his money. And I'm sitting here scratching my head. I'm like, but y'all live together. Yeah, but you operating separately. Yeah. And and I'm very honest with my people. I tell them, well, you wonder why the 5 years of your relationship you've only lived in an apartment. Because you cannot grow together, because the first thing that's important in growing together is talking about the money, how we spending the money, what are our financial goals in this relationship, not just that we're together. you know the silence that you have talking about money in a relationship creates room for assumption, resentment, and conflict. What is, I'm paying most of the bills, I'm paying $600, you paying $300. Okay, but maybe it's the biggest $300 he needs to pay. What if you're paying 600, the other and your spouse is paying 300? Then what's going on with the other 300? Are y'all putting it in a savings to build a home, to pay off the vehicles? What are you doing with this money? But see, when you're not talking about it, it creates an unspoken tension around money, which leads to stress in relationships. And then you wonder why every time something happened, y'all always arguing about money. The mindset trap behind that is, when I hear people say, well, every time we talk about money, it causes an argument, so I don't want to argue. But to flip it, if you talk about money, it builds trust. Joint budgeting, shared goals, transparent conversations that need to be have are key to relationship wealth. And you have
And
to
see,
have
that,
it.
that's what I was just about to say. Like, it's so many relationships, and I get it. Finances are a very tough conversation. You don't ever want to be made to feel inferior. You don't ever want to be made to feel like you don't bring in enough. Bump when everybody else does. Just somebody being really real with you, a woman who was once married before. You have to do what works for you, right? I wouldn't even, other than professionals like Terrence Jones and other financial professionals, even the people that work at your bank, I wouldn't talk to none of your friends. I wouldn't try to figure out what works for them, because what works for them is not what's going to work for you, because y'all are in different financial positions. Y'all may have different financial goals than that other couple. You need to talk to your significant other. You need to sit down, pull on the big girl panties, and sit down and have this conversation. Because if you don't, and I say have it from the jump, you can talk about financial goals in the beginning, before you actually start talking about the nitty and gritty of the finances. Because if y'all are not aligned with your goals and the direction where you feel like you need to go, then you are going to be the salmon and the stream working against yourself at all times. We not trying to do that no more. We too old, we too grown for all of that. We done seen our parents do it. The struggle needs to stop here and now.
You are absolutely correct, Nicole. I tell about 2 years ago, I had a client. I had a family, and they weren't filing together. And the excuse was the young lady said, "Well, he owes child support." I said, "Okay, but y'all are together." Yeah, but I don't want them taking my money. And I had to, I had to stop her. I said, "How far do you think you're going to go if he owes five, six, $7,000 in child support? Because you don't make enough. So how far as a couple y'all think y'all gonna go?" And she looked at me with this look like, "Well, what you talking about? If he has to pay a debt, all his money goes to the debt. What is your money going to?"
Everything else,
You
we
know,
owe child support. But at the same time, my question in that scenario would be, were you not aware of his debt? Were you not aware of his obligations prior to entering into the possibility of a relationship? These are the conversations that people need to get comfortable having. Because if I don't know you and I'm asking the question, I'm asking for a pursuit of general knowledge. I'm not trying to judge you. I'm not trying to get in your business. But if we finna do this thing together, oh baby, we gonna do it together. Like,
you know,
and that's what people need to start doing.
that's a question you need to have right off the if you- when before you start moving in together and co-mingling lifestyles. Baby, what's your credit score? Because I need to know how hard I'm gonna have to work. How do you view money? Not just, you talk about all this stuff, kids and this, that, and other. Do you believe if you have it, you have the right to spend it? Or do you believe in saving it? Who's gonna be the curator of this money? Who's gonna be the custodian of the family purse? These are questions you have to ask. Because again, if the person that controls the purse is the person that loves to go sneak out and spend $300 at the casino or online gambling, and then all of a sudden you think money is being saved, and you was like, you know what? I think we ought to go on a vacation because we should have enough money saved to do that. And the person tell you, well, not really because I've been gambling or doing whatever else with the money. I have not been responsible with the family purse. Now you got problems. Now you have problems.
Straight up,
Another,
and maybe people need to start doing take what they are getting from here. This is Financial Sunday. Take Financial Sunday from the Sunday sit down and put it in your own environment. Maybe y'all need to come together as husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, situationship, whatever your dynamic is. We don't have to debate that. Maybe you need to do it to where you actually sit down with your kids and start talking to them about Financial Sunday and what it means. Like, it don't just have to be on the Sunday sit down. We are bringing this information to you so that then you can go and take it and apply it in your own life.
that is so correct. That is so correct. And so here go one. Now I know if I didn't touch you with the relationship one, I'm gonna touch somebody with this one. I know I am. I deserve this every time you swipe the card. I work hard. What's that? Work hard, play hard. Am I touching? Have I touched somebody? Have I touched somebody? This is an emotional spending trap. That's the lie you tell yourself. Retail therapy disguised as self care. It's a coping mechanism for stress, and it really masks deeper insecurities. While, and I'm not gonna take nothing away from celebrating. You know how if you get a big raise, you close a big deal. Hey, it is good to celebrate it, but it shouldn't be compulsive. You shouldn't be celebrating the same accomplishment the whole entire weekend. You know, I had a friend who got a job promotion, and I mean it was about $400-500 bump in his pay. Why he threw a party, spent about almost 2 grand on the party, on the place and the food and the DJ. I'm like, so right off the bat, you got to wait 4 months of your new job before you have made up what you spent on this party for one day to celebrate you. Well, first of all, buddy, what kind of friends you had that just don't take you out and say, hey, let's go get something to eat, celebrate your accomplishment, let's move on. But again, you have people, you work hard, you play hard. Work hard, play hard, and you still broke. So what you're going to be doing? Working even harder. You know, the thing
And
of it
staying
is,
even broker. Let's put that out there. Working
oh yeah,
even
yeah,
harder,
yeah,
but you
definitely.
staying even broker.
Staying even broker. Here's the thing. Here's the trap. I've worked hard. This is my treat. No, it's not your treat. You worked hard, regardless of whatever it is you do, because you have to, because you want to build something. How about if you take it and say, I've worked hard, I deserve to invest in my future. And you take that money and you put it in your future. The one thing I tell my young clients, when you're young, this is when when you're young, this is your time to learn how to be financially responsible. This ain't your time to earn all the money you think you want to make. This is your time to learn how to make it. When you hit your late 30s, your 40s, your 50s, that's when you take what you've learned and you turn it into what you earn. And then when you're 60, 70 and you just kind of getting out the game, that's when you return. You start teaching other young people in your family, in your circle of influence, how to build their money. So when they reach your age, they're not struggling. This is, I always tell young people all the time, stop thinking you got to be a millionaire in your 20s. No, you're not. Most people who are financially successful do not experience the success until their 40s and their 50s. But unfortunately, the internet got us believing that everybody wakes up with a silver spoon and $1 million trust fund. Because all you see is them flaunting money, but you never see what they had to do to make the money or the amount of work they put in. You know,
Yeah, that's true, and especially for like, so my daughter, she's 11, and I'm like, yeah, we need to start looking at this business application now, right? Because she's like, we went to church. Church has a merchandise store, and she was like, "Ooh, I want this. I want that. Ooh, can I?" And I'm just like, "Girl, money is made of paper, but it definitely don't grow on trees, and it's harder to really get in to be able to spend on the things that you want to, let alone on the things that you need to nowadays. No, baby, like it ain't going nowhere. Let's see what it is, how much it costs, and then what it's going to take in chores for you to be able to get that. Nothing wrong with it. Of course, she got the attitude, I don't care about none of that. But it's just like, no, you need to start learning. You 11, right? Like, you want to spend my money, your daddy money. But if you earn your own, once you do the proper things with it, once you put what you need to save, once you pay your tithes, you still have money that's going to be left over. It may not be as much to get that hoodie or that t-shirt right now, but if you get $15 that you can save right now at this time, and it's a $30 hoodie, you just need to do the same thing over again. Get your other $15, and then you still got money. And we're not gonna say nothing because you did what you needed to do with it in the first place.
talk to them, talk to her, teach her right, baby, teach her right, teach her right. You know, I was listening to that documentary with Shaquille O'Neal, and one of the things he said, which I thought was very impressive, was his kids was telling him something about we're rich, and he was like, "No, I'm rich. You're not rich, and you don't have free access to my money unless you earn it." I respect that. Some people are like, "Oh, he wrong." No, I respect that. Make them understand that whatever you want in this world, you have to work for. You're just not going to walk in a room and get it. So the last example that I like to share with the poor mindset is you avoid asking for financial help or advice. The fear of looking broke or irresponsible keeps certain people stuck. But silence in your situation stalls your progress. I've said this before, financial literacy is not innate, it's learned. We're not born with it, we're taught it. Seeking guidance is smart, not shameful. If you don't know about investing and you have somebody in your circle who does and you still to this day is ignorant, that is your fault. That, and if you have friends or people in your circle who, if you ask them about financial sustainability and it was like, ooh, I don't, psh, psh, you don't know how to do it, well, you need to get that person out of your circle because they are not there to benefit you. It Let's get out the I don't want everybody in my business. Nobody is asking about how much money you have. And you shouldn't be telling people about how much money you have. But what you should be saying is, if I want my money to grow, tell me the things that I need to do. What are some of the things you do to be a positive steward of your financial sustainability? What do you do with your family that makes you that allows you to enjoy your family but stay financially sustainable? Especially if you see somebody who's doing it, somebody who retires at 40, like what did you do? Don't let people tell you they retired at 40 without telling you the steps they took to do it, because sometimes, I'm just going to tell you, people will talk about their glory and won't tell you their story. Oh, I made $1 million. Like, really? Yeah, but won't tell you the fact that their money came from their spouse who's a drug dealer. They won't tell you, oh, I got a $2 million lawsuit. All I got is $1 million left. People won't share that with you. They just tell you, oh, I got this amount of money, but you don't know what they did to get it. And until they share not what they have, but how they achieved it, if you don't know that story, you shouldn't be bragging on that person. Just say, okay, well, congratulations, keep it moving. Again, it's not just about knowledge, financial sustainability. It's about awareness and control of your emotion. Your money habits are emotional before they're logical. And let me share this. When we talk about financial sustainability, we're talking about the mindset. We're talking about building consistent positive actions that turns into habits. Then we want to take those habits and turn it into your financial values. Then we want to take those values, because once you cement those values, that becomes your character. And your character is what the world sees. But it all starts with small steps, consistent, positive actions, financial actions that allows you to turn that into habits that you consistently do over time. Nothing about what I say is going to get you rich in 30 days. But when you get there, you're going to appreciate what you have. You're going to understand how to maintain it, and you're going to understand how to grow it. Those three things right there. So we talked about the mistakes that people made. We identified them in real life experiences. So how do we put these into our thought patterns? How do I implement this into my personal everyday life? Well, the first thing is, let's start tracking our spending. Not to judge you, but to build the awareness so you know how much money you have coming in, how much money is going out. Because if you don't know that, there's nothing I've said that can help you if you don't know where your money is going. If your money is flying around you like buildings in a hurricane, then shoot, there's no help for you. There's none whatsoever. So what I want you to do is think about your financial awareness is like brushing your teeth. It's not dramatic, but it prevents financial decay. So when you check in daily, what happens? You build an awareness of where your how your money inflows and your money outflows. You also interrupt impulsive spending patterns. You know how when you go to Best Buy, or better yet, no. When you go to the mall and them little guys at the kiosk walk up to you, my brother, what cologne do you wear? And they putting the cologne in your hand, you're like, no, I'm not spending that today. I don't have that to spend. Because you're completely aware of your financial situation. You stay emotionally grounded in your financial reality when you are aware of what money you have to play with. Here, have you ever been somewhere and you want to go shopping and you're like, well, how much do I have? You go to swipe your card and like, I hope this don't decline. Has that ever happened to you? That's because you was not emotionally grounded in your financial reality. You just buying something and hoping that there's money in there to pay for it. And then connect your goals, your financial goals. So if your financial goal is to get a house, then your habits and your consistent action should be leading towards the house. You having enough money to put on a down payment for a house. So that means you shouldn't be frivolously spending money. If you are a couple and you want to buy, you tired of living in an apartment and you want to buy a home, this isn't the time for one of y'all to stop working. You feel what I'm saying? Connect your goals to your everyday actions and ask yourself, is what you're about to do going to contribute or take away from your goal? The next thought pattern we need to check is when you go shopping. Now, again, I will never tell anybody do not enjoy the fruits of your labor. But I'm going to ask you, when you go to make that purchase, is it a need? Is it a desire? Or is it a validation? What are you buying and why are you buying it, which is more important? Is this a functional need or an emotional fix? When you go out to eat, are you going out to eat because you're hungry or because someone broke your heart? Was you triggered and got mad and now you need to feel good with some ice cream? Sometimes we shop not to solve a problem, but to soothe our emotions. That's that's the realness of that one. You ever seen somebody every time their spouse or their lover hurt them, they sitting in front of the TV with a box of chocolate or some ice cream, or they got to go out and go buy a dress and go to a club and buy all these drinks and stuff like that to get over them? Why? How much money you just spent? Is that in line with your goal or whatever it is that you have? You might want to put a down payment for a car or a house, whatever the case may be. Ask yourself, is that getting you closer to your goal? I need this to feel successful. Everyone has it. If you buying something for the simple fact because everybody got it, put it back. If you're buying something because I need this to feel a certain way, put it down. Because I guarantee you, one, it costs a lot of money and you don't need it. You don't need it. I remember one time, this is a personal story. I'm gonna tell y'all about it. This is when the PlayStation 3 came on the Xbox. So I ain't have either system. So I only have enough time to play one or the other, but I had some money. So you know what I did? I went and bought both of them. Oh, I'm gonna buy both of them. I'm walking out of Best Buy, Xbox in one hand, PlayStation in the other. Oh, I felt big and bad. Tell me why I opened the Xbox and didn't open the PlayStation till a year later. Yes, I bought a $700, when you got to buy the controller in the game or something like that. I bought a $700 system and didn't open it till a year later. When I think about that, I'll be wanting to slap myself sometimes. I'd be like, you got to be kidding me that I did that. But again, I wasn't financially aware. I was just a young man. I had some money. Why not? But these are the things that you do. So ask yourself, when it comes to that kind of spending, Is this a repeat pattern? Do you always do this? If so, you need to break it. Or notice what sends you into that, what triggers you to get into that kind of mindset and disrupt the cycle. And then again, I'm gonna keep saying this. Does what you about to spend align with your financial goals? If it does not align with your financial goal, don't do it. If you start seeing every purchase that you make either as a tool to help you build or a distraction to pull you away from your goal, which one is it? When you start seeing it like that, you're going to start making better choices. So, how we apply another tool we could use? Let's start turning our mess to messages. Let's reframe the mistakes we made, financially made, and let's turn our mistakes into lessons. Mistakes are not your evidence of failure. They're just a feedback loop to let you know to make better decisions the next time. You see, when I'm faced with that decision, which one do I buy? Now I ask myself, which one I'm most likely gonna use first. I'm gonna use the Xbox. Guess what? That PlayStation won't I won't even look at it for a year and a half. Or till something entitles me to look at it. I didn't beat myself up over that decision I made years ago. I just make a better decision next time I'm faced with that type of decision. You look at your account and you see an overdraft fee. Oh my God, no, you don't stop. What did I spend that I shouldn't have spent? You know what? Last week I ate out 4 times. I can't do that. Maybe I need to sit at home and meal prep. Oh, you know what happened? I had that impulse buy. I just had to have that Gucci purse. And I didn't need it, but all my friends was around me and they was buying and I didn't want to feel left out, so I made an impulse buy. Now I just need to learn. Y'all do what y'all do. None of y'all are counting my coins. It is what it is. Create an emotional blueprint to ask yourself, when am I about to make that mistake, and should I even be making it? Or for people who are scared to invest because they think investing is gambling, yes. If you have an investment loss, it's painful, but it's a chance to redefine your risk tolerance. So I have another story, and this one gonna hit home. I lost. Let's say I lost, and I'm gonna shortchange it. Let's say I lost $30,000 in the stock market, because I did. I lost more than that, but we're gonna just say $30,000. I had a stock that shot up, and I did not move on it. I was young in my financial understanding, and I thought it would just stay there, or I thought it would even go higher. It didn't. It fell back down. Now I couldn't buy a Big Mac and a bigger size it now with the stock. But at one point in time, it was over $30,000, and I did not cash that sucker in. Why? I have no clue, but I didn't. Does that crush me that I never want to invest again? No. I just know what to do for next time. Again, I took the mess and now I turned it into a message. And that's what you need to do. So when you shift your lens to realize that every experience is not a loss, but it's a chance for you to learn, you start seeing the world differently. And you learn that those experiences are priceless, because guess what? I won't make that mistake again. Trust and believe when I tell you I will not make that mistake again. Another way to rewire your thinking is to build wealth in small steps. So what we're gonna call it is, we're gonna say we want you to start setting micro wins. So T, what are you talking about? Micro financial wins. How about you make a goal to save $5 every day? You take $5 out of your checking and you put it in a savings, or you say I'm gonna do $10 a week. Whatever you can afford. When you get your paycheck, before you pay one bill, pay yourself first. Take $50 out of every
And
paycheck
don't
and
that
put
be
that in your savings account. Pay yourself first. What you say, Nicole?
that's the hardest one. I said that's the hardest one. We got bills, we got business expenses, and we think about ourselves last. As someone who owns and operates a business, I'm in my business right now, y'all. Y'all don't even know. It don't stop. But at the end of the day, when I calculate these sales, Nicole is not in the picture of these sales, right? She's like, oh, all right, we need more jars, we need more this. And then, all right, I got these expenses, and then, yeah, I'll get it eventually, but I'm trying to make sure that my business is straight. But without me being straight, my business won't be straight. And that's something that we hope you guys take away from this conversation and all of our conversations going forward.
Exactly, exactly. Also, something else you could do, micro win, invest $50 a month. Just invest it, $50 a month. Find a stock. People's like, well, how do I know what to invest? Where do you shop? Oh, I shop at Walmart. Go invest over there and learn the game. How about meal prepping instead of eating out when you go to work? Meal prep for a week, but also however much, ask your friends, wherever y'all go, tell me how much you spent. And you write that down every day. And then at the end of your work week, look at how much money you would have spent if you would have went out with your friends. And you got about $400 worth of groceries and you throwing out stuff because stuff went bad in your house. Think about it. Um, Learn to say no to purchases you don't need. Do it feel good to have? Yeah. Do you need it? Not really. Let me tell you something that I do every year. Every year there's one video game. I love video games. There's one video game I know I'm gonna buy every year without question, without fail. I'm gonna buy Madden, the NFL Madden, every year. I know it. Come January 1st, I'm waiting for August. Guess what I do? I put that money, that $60 plus tax, to the side for that purchase in August. I start planning for it in January because I know I'm gonna buy it. I am planning. Another thing, you parents, and I should have mentioned this earlier, you parents with kids, when is Christmas? It's December 25th every year. 10 years from now, it'll be December 25th. 20 years from now, it'll be December 25th. Christmas is December 25th. How about you start saving in February, March, April for Christmas? You don't have to know what you're going to buy. Just start putting money away. So you're not waiting those last days before Christmas trying to shop in the crowds. Financial planning. If you start building wealth with small steps, putting money away for certain things, you're not in that panic mode. You're not in survival mode. And one of the greatest micro wins you can ever do for yourself is to read a financial book or article at least one a quarter. Increase your financial literacy. Make yourself smarter about your money. If you do that, I guarantee you, if you do one a quarter within 2 years, you're going to have financial insight to make your life better. You don't hear me talking to you. And the fifth, now, if you thought those other two about the relationship and, I work hard, I should play hard. If I didn't touch you by some kind of way, I hadn't touched you with that one, I'm guaranteed to get everybody. This is going to be 100%. If you find yourself broke, surround yourself with growth-minded people. Your environment can either reinforce poor thinking or challenge you to be better. Come on now. Am I talking to somebody? If you show me your circle, I'll show you your future. I am guaranteed. I have never seen a financially smart person hang around five broke friends. Never see it, not going to ever see it. So let me ask you this. And Nicole's working, making money. So for the people out,
Oh no,
oh,
I'm
okay,
listening
okay.
to you, T. We talking. I got we talking about the same thing that we talking about here. So no,
So
I'm here
Nicole, let
with
me
you.
ask you this, baby. Let me ask you this. What are some of
What's
the
up?
habits and traits of a growth-minded circle?
Ooh, some of the habits and traits of a growth-minded
Mm-hmm.
circle are. willingness to communicate, right? We ain't just talking. We ain't talking about surface level stuff. We ain't just, oh girl, what's going on with you? What your man been? No. Hey, what you trying to do? What do you need with these kids? What do you need for your business? How can I support you? It's been so many people that this move that I'm in right now, where I'm at now, it was a move that was really made in silence, right? So you got to get into it. You got to see what it's gonna do. And Laura was like, you know what? No, I'm gonna let your people see you. It's been so many people. Like one of my homegirls, she came up and she was like, "There go my boo," and I. It's an establishment, so I'm thinking they having a good time. They talking amongst themselves, and she come up in my face and she was like, "I'm talking to you." I'm like, "Oh my bad. Hey, this is who her I be," you know. But being able to talk about the things that you really need to talk about within your circle, honesty. Honesty is a pivotal characteristic trait of a growth mindset community. We're not even going to say a collective or people come, it's a community, right? You are not going to be successful. You are not going to be who God has called you to be without the right people in alignment with you. Let me see. People who have vision. Having vision is a part of an elevated mindset collective. If y'all can't see where it is that you're trying to go and how everybody can kind of contribute to the facilitation of that elevation, you're not gonna go nowhere. You're gonna stay where you at, looking down from the ground at the people in the sky, really making things
Preach,
happen.
preach.
I'm just saying. I'm trying to think what else. It's
Well,
so many
it's so
things.
many things, but there's four big ones, and you touched on two of them. So first of all,
Okay.
a growth-minded circle talks impossibility, not problems. The second one is they challenge you to stretch, not to shrink. The third one, now I'm gonna say this third one, and you're gonna be like, T, this me and you. They celebrate your wins, but they don't let you settle.
Man, come on, read it.
And last one is they model discipline, learning, and evolution in real time. Always talking, having the discipline to do what needs to be done, always learning what more can be done, and evolving their business like you did with cake doubles. How you're evolving it into something more now. That's that right there are the habits of a growth minded circle.
Yeah, and just don't give up. Like if you are blessed to be a part of a growth minded circle, or if someone is bringing you into a growth minded circle, you cannot give up at the first time that something appears to be hard. Y'all, I launched Cake Doubles in 2012 in Houston, one of the biggest cities that there is, and really was super lost in trying to find my way of what I wanted Cake Doubles to be, who I wanted to cater to. I knew I could bake, but there's a difference between just being able to bake and actually baking for a living. So now, fast forward to I'm back in my hometown, and Cake Doubles has done way more and reached way more people than I ever imagined that I would. But if I would have given up all those years ago, Cake Doubles would not be in existence. I wouldn't be where I am. I wouldn't be moving on to the next, elevation of my business. I wouldn't be securing contracts and the ability to be in other people's spaces. Right now, I'm at a point. I used to have to go to where people are. Now I'm being invited into spaces where people are already in those spaces and they are coming. Now my influence is being appreciated so much so to where the establishment that I'm at right now, it doesn't have suites. I'm the sweet, right? You know, cake doubles is it was good. See, y'all see, like in the middle of this live, like just being able to stick it out. You don't always have to tough it out, but you have to stay connected to where it is that you're trying to go and the people that you have around you. So all of you can get what you need, and it's not one person putting in more than the other, or one person having to support everybody else's dreams. No, all right, cool. If you think about like back in the day with the Asian community, they uplift their community, right? You have a pool where everybody's paying into it, and when somebody needs to access that pool of resources, they're fine with that person accessing it at that time because they know that that person still has to pour back into the pool to bring it back up. So when the next person needs to have access to it, they have access to it. If it's not your finances that you can do that with, you can do that with your time. You can do that with your intellectual capacity. You can do that with just your genuine support. If you see myself, T, or any of your other friends, business owners post something, share it. Even if you don't have nothing to say about it, share it. If you like it, put a quick little comment. Hey, that was dope. Drop your 100, emoji or avatar, whatever it is. All of that stuff contributes to the goal and the vision that that person may have that you may not be aware of.
Exactly.
That's what growth mindset looks like.
Exactly. So the converse of the growth mindset, when you know your circle needs to upgrade, you need to upgrade your circle. Whether you need to either tell them, hey, we need to change it, or you need to leave. When your conversations center around complaints, people, or irrelevant news. When you feel drained after social time with your circle and not invigorated to do something more, you feel that you have to shrink your goals to relate to the people in your circle, and you leave your group second guessing your vision because no one else sees it. Girl, you crazy trying to do that. Why would you want to go to college? Nope. Go to school for what? When you start having people like that, hey, you got to get out of there because they are small time. So understand this: your environment either reinforces your vision, reinforces your unlocks your fire, or it reinforces your fear and it shrinks you. It behooves you to choose wisely who you have around you. And there's nothing wrong with being known by the people, but we talking about who you hanging around. I have a lot of friends that I have a lot of people that I talk to that I wouldn't necessarily hang around because we're just not we don't follow the same stuff. What I have to say wouldn't make sense to them, and what they talk about wouldn't make no sense to me. I have no judgment for them. That's them. They're good people. But we're not on the same plane. And we're not on the same plane. We can't be spending a whole lot of time together. You know,
Right. And don't be scared to move around, right? Like the people that you went to high school with, college with, stuff like that, especially if you have a period like I did where there was a lot of distance from us being able to mix and mingle and, kind of grow up and see how each other does their own thing, what preferences are. If you feel like you're no longer supported by your circle, you don't necessarily need to wait for your circle to make the change. Maybe you need to be the one that makes the change and changes your circle. Because there are so many people, there are so many organizations, there are so many avenues to where you can lock in with other people that will put you and keep you in proper alignment for where it is that you want to go. That's why I'm out here solo dolo by myself right now. I, I ain't got no choice. They don't have my bills, right? They don't have where I'm trying to go financially. They don't, they don't have my kids that they have to support. I do. So I can't be afraid to say, hey, Mr. Established Owner, can I post up in front of your spot?
exactly.
I ain't gonna bother nobody. I'm not a nuisance, nothing like that. Like I'm just out here trying to bring the people some good stuff and also, kind of reinforce people being at your establishment. It's a lovely Sunday. People need something sweet on their Sunday. Like that's all I'm trying to do. But business owner to business owner, he can see where I'm going. He can see what it is that I'm trying to do, and I'm not trying to take advantage of him. I am bringing my own stuff to where he is and where his business operates to where we're both good. Where my people, now that they know that I'm here, can start frequenting this establishment. And then your people can start looking for me because they've already tried what it is that I have to offer. That's a symbiotic business relationship.
Exactly. And just some reflection for our listeners and the people who will catch this later on. When you listen to what we talked about today, pick one or two things that you want to work on. If you want to talk about your circle, ask yourself, who in your life challenges you to be better? Who is willing to make you uncomfortable in what you're doing to tell you, you know you you could do this better, or you can do more? Who do you need to spend less time around that's not benefiting you immediately in your growth? Are you comfortable where you at? I hope not. Ask yourself that. If you're deciding to want to, you know, talk about, micro wins, pick two things. When you was going to go out and spend money, say no and then write down how much you would have spent. And then again, pay when you get that paycheck, pay yourself. And in 6 months, see how much you have paid yourself and see how much money you save by not spending it. You know, I'm gonna challenge everyone who listening to this podcast today. Pick something. I don't care what part. Surround yourself with a different cast of people. Your micro wins. Tell me about a mess you did and how you learned from it. Whatever. A purchase that you wanted to make but you decide not to make. I want you to, whatever you pick, to come back and email me at tjones@paladintax.com. And that's Paladin Tax, Paladin Tax, TAX.com. tjones@paladintax.com. Email me and tell me what you're going to do to make your next month better. Tell me what challenges that you decide to overcome by listening to this podcast. Tell me where, hey, I'm auditing my circle, T. I'm going to start being around more positive people. Or email me and say, hey, T, I want us to be a circle. Whatever. Email me and let's have that conversation so we can start building together to be financially sustainable. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an hour, but kind of an hour plus. And I'm gonna end it like this. Let me say this clearly because I don't want people to take that, oh, we shaming people. Because people who can't accept accountability always want to point fingers that you trying to shame them. This isn't about shaming anybody. Poor thinking doesn't mean that you're dumb, lazy, or broke. It means that you're human. And you've probably been in survival mode for way too long. Only thing I want to do is help you identify the things that are holding you back, what is attached to you that's keeping you from running, and see if we can cut it. Can you unlearn things that no longer serve you? Can you choose alignment over impulse? Can you build and not just survive? And I would love to help you accomplish that in your life. So again, if today's episode sparks something in you, share it with someone you love. If you don't want to share it with nobody, you want to remain anonymous, hey, email me. Thank you again for listening to me, Nicole. As always, I look forward to this fourth Sunday of the month that me and you could get down and talk and share and laugh. And until then, keep your mind on your money and your money on your mind.
Money on
Stay
your
conscious
mind.
about your coin. Thank you.
Yes, come
Nicole, it was
on.
great again, dear.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you to you so much for your time and your intellectual capacity. One thing that you touched on that I really, really want us to be able to develop is the whole financial literacy piece, right? We need to start breaking down to people kind of what that looks like, what it entails, what type of resources can they look for in order to become more financial literate. Like, because if you don't know what your money's doing, you don't know where your money's going, you don't know what you can do in this life. And we want to really connect with you guys and be able to change that. So we're gonna start working on introducing like some actual financial literacy resources, not just for adults, but for kids too, right? Because we are all out here raising the next generation of future, hopefully money mindset empowered people. So we want to make sure that we touch on the kiddos too. So we're gonna get some things in the works for you guys, and we'll make sure that we have that for you starting next. Sorry, our next financial Sunday that we get together. We love y'all. Like we really, this is our passion, right? We really want to come and connect with you guys to make sure that you are becoming a whole person. If you are lacking or if you are in a deficit in any part of your life, it's okay. It doesn't always have to be there, and we want to help to keep you from be in a space where it's always there. So make sure y'all tap in and lock in with us. You can find this conversation and all my other conversations via Facebook, on live, YouTube at Forever Nicole LaTreece. And yeah, just like you said, like it, comment, share, just push this movement forward because we want you to be able to be involved in circles with people that have the same mindset and vision as you. So as always, I love each and every one of y'all. I wish y'all a good life filled with real love and all of the above.